Welcome to Airgun Extra, brought to you in association with Crackshot, the Southwest's premier airgun sensor and ranges. In this week's episode, Rich Saunders has a detailed review of the Raw HM1000 Micro Hunter. Before that though, I'm back out on the farmyard rats and I've got a few tips that I hope will help you to shoot even more of the disease-spreading pests this winter. Right, well you've just seen a few clips from my previous ratting session on the farm. Now it was actually the debut ratting trip for the BSA Buccaneer Pro. It gave a brilliant account of itself, but I hadn't yet set up the ballistic calculator on the Alpex 4K Lite, which I have now done and I'm itching to put it to use. Now we've had a bit of a daytime look around before it got dark, saw a few rats on the move and even managed to shoot one, so I'm really keen to get into it. So we'll get settled in and see if we can't shoot a few more. Well, what a difference it has made setting up that ballistic calculator. Now, I've been shooting air guns for more than 40 years and I like to think I'm pretty good at estimating hold over and hold under, but it's not easy in total darkness. I don't want to talk too much about the kit, but BSA Buccaneer Pro is the gun I'm using tonight. 2.2 caliber, sub 12 foot-pounds, absolutely perfect for farmyard ratting. Now, I'm running it on JTS dead center pellets, the 16 grain version, and it really likes them. It's absolutely bang on with this ammo, and yeah, with that ballistic calculator now up and running, I shouldn't be missing too much. took one look at the Buccaneer Pro, especially in the synthetic stock, and thought it looked like it'd make a good little ratter. And it's certainly doing the job. It's a tough little gun, good little workhorse, but it's also very accurate. And side lever action, I'm finding my way to it intuitively, so it's making easy work of reloading in the darkness. Now, that last rat was underneath a pallet, and there was actually another one there that darted off after I took the shot. But it's worth bearing in mind that rats absolutely love it around pallets. They feel safe when they're underneath them. And if you think about the sort of predators that they'd usually be expecting at night, things like tawny owls usually around here, they just feel like having those slats of wood above them makes them safe. But obviously they don't count on having somebody shooting in from the side with an air gun. That was another close one under a pallet there, and I'm afraid that's going to have to be the last one because we need to get away so they can lock the farm up. So yeah, we're always on a bit of a tight deadline here. It's gone all right though. It's been a little bit frustrating in that we haven't been able to target the area where we saw most of the ratty activity when we arrived, and that's because it's very close to a cattle pen. There's a creep feeder there. And although I put down some bait spots, and while it was light, I was quite happy that we managed to shoot one there and it was safe, but I just felt a bit uneasy about targeting that particular area with the livestock around after it got dark. So I'm going to work on that, and I may even set up a feeder like a squirrel feeder so that I can draw the rats away to a safe area, maybe load it with cut maize, and know that not only am I drawing them away, but also that feeder will act as a backstop in its own right. Anyway, that's something different for another day. In fact, on the subject of livestock, we are very close to a turkey shed, so if you hear any funny noises in the background, that's what that is. So yeah, we will be back again and hopefully shoot plenty more rats, but in the meantime we recorded a few tips that I hope will help you to shoot more rats when we got here, so we'll cut across to that now. Right, it's that time of year again. The days are getting shorter, the weather's getting colder, and for a lot of us that's going to mean we're going to be doing a lot more rat shooting. So I thought I'd include a few top tips in this particular video. So my first tip is, when you come for a night's rat shooting, if you can, try to come before it gets dark. Being on the farm during daylight gives you an opportunity to have a proper look around. You can earmark any potential hazards to you, look around at hazards such as livestock, machinery, and work out a way of ensuring that you're always taking safe shots. And also, it's an opportunity to look for signs of those most ratty areas. Now, we turned up during daylight and we did actually see a few rats on the move and even managed to shoot one. They soon got very suspicious. We didn't manage to get any more, but I will work on that. But it does show the value of turning up during daylight. My second tip is to shoot from a fixed position rather than just wandering around the farm hoping for chance encounters with rats. It is a far more methodical way of really hammering an area, clearing it out, and then moving on to target another spot. Now, it also means that you can make yourself comfortable. Shoot from the support of sticks, and when you're shooting with that level of stability, you're going to be taking far more accurate shots. So my third tip is to consider trying night vision if you haven't moved across to it yet. Now, lamping still works as well as it ever did, but I've got to admit, you just can't beat the stealth of night vision optics. Now, what I've got here is the Hikmicro Alpex 4K Lite. It's easy to use, it's a brilliant night vision scope, and also quite affordable. I won't talk about it too much now, but have a look at the Scott Country website to find out more about it. One thing I will mention though is it is also It produces a brilliant full colour image by daylight, and we took full advantage of that when we encountered those rats earlier on by dusk. The next thing I would suggest is, if you're having problems getting clear shots at really fidgety, skittish rats, try putting some bait down. Now all you need to do is put a fistful of, well, it could be what's attracting them in the first place, maybe animal feed, or maybe you want to bring something else. Breadcrumbs can be good. The important thing is that your bait should either be very fine or even liquid, so that rats have to stop to feed on it. And you need to put it along their runs, and hopefully it'll encourage them to pause long enough to offer you a clear shot. Now, apart from keeping rats still, you can also use it to encourage them to stop in places where you know that you're taking safe shots with a safe backstop. I could go on all night, but we want to wrap up and actually get on and shoot a few rats, so I will keep it to 5 tips. And my 5th and final tip is, particularly if you're using night vision, to wear a head torch. Now, as I've already mentioned, night vision is brilliant because of its stealth and that brilliant image quality, but it's not so good when you need to find your way around. So your head torch casts light wherever you look, so it's great for safely navigating the farm, but also brilliant for closer distance tasks such as loading magazines, and even when it's time to retrieve shot rats for disposal. So I hope those few tips help you to shoot more rats this winter. We massively appreciate your support for Airgun Extra, so please don't forget to give us a like and subscribe. Right then, next up we've got Rich Saunders with the Raw HM1000 Micro Hunter.
So this is my own rifle. I bought this only a few weeks ago. It is the Raw Theoben HM1000 Micro Hunter, and it's distributed in the UK by a company called ISB Limited. Now the Theoben name is a name full of heritage and history that makes airgunners of a certain vintage go all weak at the knees. Back in the 80s it created the gas ram platform that has spawned a whole bunch of rifles, not only by Theoben but many other companies as well since. And back in the day they brought us rifles like the Sirocco and the Eliminator, and then when PCP rifles became a thing they introduced the legendary Rapid 7 PCP rifle. Now since those days the Theoben name has been acquired by a company in the US called Auto Pneumatic. They're a company behind brands such as Air Force and also Raw, Rapid Air Works, but they never really used the Theoben name much. They never really marketed it that much until ISB got involved, and they really pushed for the Theoben brand to be resurrected, certainly for a UK market, because of that history behind it. And they worked with Ben Taylor, the Ben in Theoben, no less, to develop a new range of rifles, of which this is one. Now, the HM1000 Micro Hunter is not to be confused with an earlier rifle, the HM1000X Micro Hunter, which I think it's fair to say was basically the US high-powered rifle detuned for a sub 12 foot-pound UK market, and it never really worked, to be honest. By contrast, the HM1000 Micro Hunter, developed by ISB, has been created specifically for a UK sub 12 foot-pound market to ISB's specifications. It's made in the US, but to UK market specific design. And currently it's only available in 177 caliber. Now, I understand from the guys at ISB that they're working on a 2.2 version, but they've been very honest and they've said that, look, the barrel, the 2.2 barrel isn't quite right. It's the US high-powered barrel, so they're committed to developing the barrel further to make that accurate for sub 12 foot-pound 2.2 use, which I think is a great thing, because a lot of companies would have just thrown it out there and let people get on with it. But Theoben or ISB over here have said, no, we're going to take some time, we're going to get it right. So what we're going to do is we're going to walk through the rifle from back to front, look at some of the key features in a little bit of closer detail. Then we'll talk about the whole air filling process, how the magazine works as well, and then we'll end up on the range. So the Theoben HM1000 Micro Hunter is priced in the UK at £1,699, and that's the same price for this more tactical looking version and a couple of form stocked laminate versions. There's a green laminate and also a more black grey laminate as well, same price at £16.99. And it's a very well named rifle because this is an extremely light and compact rifle. This version here measures from the shortest length is 756 millimeters, and by pushing this lever on the butt pad you can take it out to 835 millimeters, so 30 to 33 inches. And in terms of weight, it weighs just 2.5 kilos or 5.5 pounds. Now that's obviously unscoped and without a silencer. The butt section itself is an AR-15 style butt. It's actually made by DLG. It's their MS-130 model, I believe. It has a solid rubber butt pad, shoulder pad at the back here, which doesn't adjust. But by pushing two buttons on the side here, you can raise the cheek piece into 6 different lockable positions. Although, to be honest, with this scope on here, this is an MTC Copperhead, I found that I didn't need to raise the cheek piece at all. And then by pushing this lever at the back here, the buttstock will lock into, I think it's one of 6 different positions as well. And the combination of the adjustable cheek piece and the adjustable length means that you can get eye relief and eye alignment spot on for whichever optic that you're using. And if you decide that you don't want to use this particular AR-15 buttstock, you can swap it out for any other AR-15 compatible model. I should have mentioned also there are a couple of holes in the back here for you to put in a sling attachment. The pistol grip is quite a plain pistol grip actually. There's panels of stippling on both sides, there's some vertical lines on the back as well. And again, if you don't like the pistol grip, and there's no reason not to, but you can bling it up a little bit with another AR-15 compatible grip. And all you need to do is slacken off or undo a bolt on the inside of this cavity here and put the new one on. Now right at the back here behind the action is the power wheel, and it is possible to adjust it. Now Theoben or ISB will set each rifle as it leaves their factory at its optimum power level, and this one was set for 11.4 foot-pounds. But if you want to, you can go into that power wheel there, that hammer spring adjustment, and you can adjust the power level through that little gap there. Now obviously it's your responsibility to ensure that if you do that, your rifle stays at or below the 12 foot-pound limit. The trigger, a lot of companies have been going for this sort of post and shoe match style trigger arrangement just recently, and I like the fact that the Micro Hunter has a more traditional blade. It's quite a curved blade, it's quite broad as well, it sits very comfortably on your finger, and it's 2 stages and it's fully adjustable as well. And when I first got this out of the box, it's a little bit light for me, so it took just a few seconds to adjust it, and now it's absolutely spot on. The first stage is very smooth, comes to a very defined stop, and then with a bit more pressure the let-off is very, very clean indeed. Now the safety catch is located in front of the trigger. It's on in the rear position, and then to switch it off to make the gun live, you push it forward. Not my favourite position for a safety catch, but it operates very, very effectively. On the other side here, on this side here, is the side lever. Operates in 2 stages. It's kind of a little bit sprung to come out for the first stage, then you pull it back a second stage, and then push it forward to propel it through the magazine and fully cock the rifle. Now it gets to a point where it's almost closed, and then there's a little bit more pressure. It shuts properly with a tiny little muted click, which I quite like. And we'll show you the magazines in a minute or two. You get 2 magazines, and they insert into the breech from the left hand side. Now the side lever itself, you can swap that over onto the left side of the rifle if you prefer. The scope rail is a Picatinny design. It's split into 2 parts to accept the magazine through the middle. Plenty of room for you to mount a scope, and as I say, because you've got this sliding buttstock, then you can get your eye relief set up just so. The fore end is quite short. You get about 130 millimeters of space here on the actual forend for your lead hand, and if you need more than that, it's actually quite comfortable to hold the bottle with your lead hand as well. It's covered in M-lock slots on both sides and underneath as well, so it's very easy to put in an accessory like a sling attachment or a Picatinny rail, something like that. And I've got a sling attachment on this side. Holds it very, very securely. And then on this side you have the pressure gauge. Now the bottle is a 210 cc steel bottle, and Theoben says that in the 177 model that's available now, you should expect around about 100 shots from a 200 bar fill, which is plenty when you remember this is a hunting rifle rather than a range rifle. Now on top is perhaps the most striking feature, certainly the one that most people have called out to me when they've first seen this rifle, and that is this, I think it's a hexagonal barrel shroud, which covers up a 12-inch or 305 millimeter Lothar Walther barrel, and then there's some baffling, and there's an adjustable air stripper inside as well, which takes the overall length out to 375 millimeters, or just under 15 inches. And then right at the very end you have a UNF thread that you can use to fit a silencer, and Hugget have brought out a version of one of their silencers that has been designed specifically for the Micro Hunter. It's branded Raw, made by Hugget, and it's a very nice silencer. It's designed to be the same diameter as the barrel overall, and it does an extremely good job of hushing down muzzle report. So I think that's a walkthrough on the rifle. What we'll do now is we'll talk about the magazines, how to fill a magazine with pellets, and then also talk about the air filling process. Then we take it down on the range. So you get 2 magazines with the Theoben HM1000 Micro Hunter, and I should have said before as well, the rifle comes in a very nice black plastic case as well. Now the magazine has a little arrow on the top here, which hopefully you can see, and that tells you that you need to rotate this faceplate back almost 360 degrees until it comes to a stop, and if you let go it will kind of slowly slide back. But yeah, just rotate that round as far as it will go, and then hold it into position, and then take your first pellet and drop it nose first through that first hole. Now you'll need to keep your finger behind the hole at the back, otherwise it will fall all the way through. Then it's just a case of rotating the faceplate back clockwise, dropping in a pellet into each of the chambers as you go. Now the rifle, the 177 magazine takes 17 shots, would you believe, and the 2.2 when it comes out, as I understand, will take 12 shots. So you just keep going in, dropping the pellets into each of the chambers as you go around, until eventually that faceplate locks back up in its original position at the top there. So the magazine goes into the rifle from the left side as you look down the rifle, and the side that has the faceplate on that you just rotated to put the pellets in faces back towards you, and then the other side, the more blank side, faces down towards the muzzle. Now hopefully you can see that there's like a little U-shape cut out just here. That needs to go around the end of the barrel in the breech just here. So with the safety catch on, pull the side lever back as far as it will go, and then put this flat underside of the magazine on the bottom of the breech, and with the pointy end, this pointy part here, and this U-shape cut out facing forward, just put it on the bottom there and slide it all the way in, and it'll go like a little click like that. Now the thing with the magazine is it has this sort of dead stop, so that once you've shot the last pellet, if you try and cock the rifle again, the side lever will come back, but it won't push forward and the probe won't go through the magazine because it's blocked off because you've run out of pellets. Now I've obviously not got any pellets in this magazine because I'm filming this inside. But once you've put the magazine in, you just push forward the side lever, the pellet probe will go through the magazine and push a pellet into the breech. There's no mystery with regards to filling up the Micro Hunter at all. On the right hand side of the rifle you have this cap which just pulls off and reveals the fill valve here, and then it's just a case of putting on your airline, be that from a compressor or a bottle or a stirrup pump or whatever, and then snapping that directly onto the valve, and then giving the rifle a 200 bar fill, which is good for around about 100 shots in 177. Then once you've done that, obviously bleed off the air from your airline, pull off the hose or the whip, and then replace that cap. Well, that's enough chat about the Micro Hunter. I'm going to drop in some footage now from a visit to the range a few days ago to show you how the rifle shoots. So I popped down to a very windy Reading Air Target Shooting Club with the Theoben Raw HM1000 Micro Hunter to give it a bit of a shoot. I've put some targets out at my usual 30 meters, so I'm going to give it a full magazine and see how we get on. The last shot, I think. Nope, this is the last one. No, this is definitely the last one. This is definitely the last one. Can't count. There we go. Definitely the last one, that one. Well, that didn't look too bad actually, given the windy conditions. But let's go down and take a look. Right, let's just zoom in on that a little bit. So that's not too bad at all. So, being a tightwad, I haven't got a coin on me, but I found an acorn, standard British acorn, and you can see that that group is quite a bit smaller than an acorn, but half an acorn size, and that's at 30 meters. Now, the reason why I miscounted was because in my mind it was a 14-shot magazine. Of course, it's actually a 17-shot magazine, so that's all 17 shots through that group, a little bit high and left at 30 meters, and I was using QIS 8.48 pellets, the streamlined pellets. So there you go, that is the raw Theoben HM1000 Micro Hunter in 177 caliber. Really like this rifle, very, very compact, very light, very easy to carry around and to shoulder, and really accurate too. Anyway, I hope you found that useful. If you did, please give us a like, and don't forget to subscribe as well. That way you'll get a heads up on future episodes. And check out our website too, which is www.airgunextra.com. Thanks for watching.
The Great British Shooting Show, held on the 13th to the 15th of February 2026 at the NEC Birmingham. Book tickets online at shootingshow.co.uk.
I'm afraid that's all we've got time for this week. Thank you for tuning in, and thanks again to Crackshot. There's a link to their website in the show description. We're back with more in a fortnight. Until then, enjoy your shooting and stay safe.